Wasting money on bits of wood, basically, innit?
Yep. That's what we think. And the thing is, what people are obviously choosing to misunderstand, as they so often do with this phoning, we're not saying, oh, just scrap it. We're saying if it's burnt down, the thing that you care so passionately about, the bit of heritage, which seems to amount to the fact it was a quicker ship getting to here than any other ship.
It's gone.
It's gone. You cannot get it back by spending any amount of money because it's burnt down.
Well, I'll be honest with you, the only time I've ever seen it is in the London Marathon when people run past it.
No one gives a damn about the Cutty Sark, right? There are things in people that Britain, there are things in Britain that people do care about, and I'm sure one of those is Stonehenge, and in Paris they probably love the Eiffel Tower.
Which was meant to be a temporary structure. I mean, like that Millennium Wheel in London was just meant to be there for a couple of years, and people love it, so it's still there. It works, it's technically sound, so why not?
Yeah, like building like House of Parliament and Big Ben, yeah, that's all
Yeah,
heritage.
Big Ben, of course you'd have to rebuild Big Ben.
I only agree with you, but a wooden boat that's going to, well, rot eventually, innit?
Have you ever seen the Cutty Sark?
Yeah, well, what you said when I was...
Only in the backdrop to the marathon.
Oh, I see, not on a school trip.
That's about it. No, didn't even know it existed, to be honest.
As the
Box once, that's about it.
They moved the Cutty Sark for a couple of years to, I don't know, take it down to Devon for a promotion. As the doc says, you could get some of those scene painters and they could paint a backdrop and it'd probably be better than the real thing.
Yeah, but once they've done the restoration, how much of that Cutty Sark is the original Cutty Sark?
Exactly.
None of it.
Let's
in
move
fact,
on.
if they're going to do one of those backdrops, they could do it in full sail, because most people want to see what it actually looked like in full sail, racing up with all that tea. That backdrop could make it look like it had life again.
Hi, who's that?
Hi, it's Brenda from Thorney Spey.
Brenda?
Brenda from Thorney Spey. I was very, very lucky as a season ticket holder of Chelsea to go to Wembley on Saturday.
All right, what did you think of the new Wembley?
Well, I went to the old Wembley a lot of times, and that had a lot of character. I think because this is the first time it was very, very big, still got teething troubles, the escalators packed up. I had a good view. I was right at the very top, and you saw the whole pitch. And I suppose people that haven't been to the old Wembley will say it was fantastic. I did miss the Twin Towers. It was a shame that they didn't keep the Twin Towers.
It is ridiculous that they didn't, because it would be easy to incorporate them. But
exactly.
What about the massive shadow over the pitch that we all saw on the TV?
Well, I don't know, because I videoed it, but I haven't seen the video.
No, but when you were there,
yeah, when you were there.
Well, I didn't really have much of a shadow where I was sitting, because I was looking right the way down. I was right at the top, up above the royal box, right at the back.
When Ryan Giggs got that goal against you, did you see it cross the line?
I was too far up.
Exactly.
Sliding to the goalie, to our goalie, and he pushed our goalie over the line.
No, it was just his momentum. I think Man U were robbed myself.
Well...
What about the Cutty Sark, Brenda? What do you think about the Cutty Sark?
Well, it's a shame, but as you say, there is a lot of old ships all around the place.
Yeah, there's loads of them. They're scrapping loads of old stuff every year.
Remember the old Captain Pano one that used to be in the quay at Newport?
The pirate ship.
Yeah.
Condemned in the end.
The money could be spent on something more sensible.
Thank you. Hi, who's this?
Hi, it's Mike in Northwood.
Hello, Mike.
Yeah, Cutty Sark. I know what they could do with it. What they should do is advertise remains on eBay, and some dozy American will buy them and stand them next to London Bridge in the Arizona desert.
Yeah, well, probably, and they'll probably get their money back, or the Japanese might buy it. Hi, Auntie Jenny.
Oh, I've got a terrible bad cold, so I'm croaking like mad.
Oh, Auntie Jenny, we met the family on when we were from the Bagel Wrapping Ride
on Friday.
We met Jeff and Thingy's mum. Nigel's mum. We met the sister. We're beginning to meet the entire Smith family.
We nearly had the whole set if you had been there.
Yes. Well, I've got a bad cold. So
I'm sorry.
Do you all get on in the family?
Of course we do. We're marvellous. We all love each other.
Well, we just wondered whether you, because you weren't there, whether you actually all got on or not.
Yes, we all get on marvellously well together.
Good.
We're a very tight-knit family.
New Wembley, Big Rabbits or the Cutty Sark?
I'm just going to sort of put my 5 eggs in about the Cutty Sark. I'm a huge historian, as you know. Very, very patriotic. I have to say on this occasion that unless there's something left of the original, I can't really see that there's much point in rebuilding it.
A couple of planks by the sound of it.
Yeah.
And an anchor, I think.
You know, we've got a lot of high heritage sites. I mean, Stonehenge is absolutely wonderful. We've got other sites that are wonderful. I can't really see unless there's a lot.
Alex was telling me in the break that some of those stones at Stonehenge, he said that the rumour is in the 60s, some of them were crumbling and they actually replaced them, you said to me, didn't you?
Yeah, but I asked Simon to edit that out of the...
Oh, sorry.
Because it's only a rumour. I have heard a rumour that in the very early 60s, that one, if not two, had the ends... They didn't look right, and if you look at old pictures of it, and now if you look at it, it all looks a bit more symmetrical than it did in the late 50s.
I mean, that's an absolutely phenomenal feat. I mean, when you go back, what do they say, 5,000 to 6,000 years?
Well, that's what they say, but apparently it's more like 50 years.
No.
Well, a bit longer than 50 years, but...
No, the original Stonehenge.
They put proper foundations and footings. Apparently it was something to do with, was it you said building regulations? Didn't
Well, the building regulations of those days, which didn't with those days, I heard... That's what I heard from a historian. Well, yeah, sort of an underpinning, but that's what underpinning. But that's what I heard from an historian.
What is original though in any of these old things?
Well, I mean, with Stonehenge, it's quite a culture thing. I mean, it's pre-Roman, it's possibly pre-Druid.
But no one really knows.
For someone to bring those stones there, when you think about, the technology that, of that time, and without all the modern machinery that we have moving stuff about to actually accomplish something like that.
Well, of course, we don't know. They didn't have, stuff like tower cranes and,
Well, I don't think they did. No.
Well, early versions.
Yeah, early versions. Primitive versions, like
All
the
right,
Romans.
Auntie Jenny, we better move on. Hi, who's that?
Hello, Alex. It's Ben here from Shanklin.
Hello, Ben.
Hello. I'm following up about the Cutty Sark thing when you were saying about bits being original and things. You've just got your, well, not just, but you've got your show car, the Volvo.
Yeah, the
Good.
same
I know
Volvo.
where he's going with this. He's
How
got a
many
good
parts
point.
of your Volvo are original parts?
Well, do you know what? Not only that, but of course it was a 67. I think it was on an E. I think the car that he bought, which was about 2 years ago, I don't think there are many original parts left since 2 years ago when he bought it. Never mind about from 1967. He's virtually had to replace everything on that car.
Because you were saying about, there's not this much going to be original parts on it. With anything, any vehicle, any building, over time bits and pieces get replaced. But as soon as they're sort of crafted and bolted on to the original structure, they become part of it. And
Ben, let me just tell you before you go.
Volvo is a fake.
Let me tell you before you go any further that yes, there have been pieces replaced on it. I replaced the steering wheel, but I went for another 1960s wooden steering wheel, and some of the parts off that, I swear to God, this is true, are off of the original Simon Templar Volvo, because I took it to Bury St Edmunds to the guy who did the original one, and
He's
it's been
been
replaced
flogging
with
bits
from
from
the
that
60s.
car to mugs like you for the past 20 years, actually.
Thank you, Ben. Let's go to DJ Jeff Peters.
Hello, Big Al. Hello, Doc.
Now, Jeff, before you go any further, when we were doing that momentous outside broadcast from HMS Victory, I think it was last year, you did come along and join us, and I have to say, your decision there to have smoke your roll-ups probably now looks a bit rash, because it could have been the Cutty Sark all over again. It could have cost the taxpayer another 50 million quid.
Well, I don't know what the situation is with the Cutty Sark, because I've only
Who cares?
and I haven't seen, but I was interested in your comments about your forward-thinking America, that over the years have shipped over the Queen Mary, the London Bridge brick by brick. They also preserved the Constitution. USS Constitution was one of the early American square riggers. Also the first nuclear submarine Nautilus. All these things they
But they've got the money over there.
Well, yeah, but you were saying they don't travel with this sort of thing. So perhaps I thought you might be interested to know that the World War II aircraft carrier Intrepid, which for many years now has been moored at Pier 86 in New York,
Is being restored.
is being restored at a cost of $17 million.
All private money, though, Jeff. That's the big difference.
Well, is it?
Yeah, apparently.
Jeff,
yeah.
if you were like the most famous disc jockey in Britain, not even in the world, in Britain, and I know you're just a two-bit local DJ from Portsmouth, but if you weren't, right, and you said, right, I am going to pay for the Cutty Sark, I'm going to spend 40 million on the Cutty. If Richard Branson was going to spend 40 million on the Cutty Sark, I wouldn't have a problem.
No.
Me and my Saint Volvo doesn't matter because it's my money. But if I went to the Isle of Wight Council and said,